Это просто... Мне сейчас повезло, что страйк не дали. Что оправдывается. Надо... Если бы канал заблокировали, она бы мне этот канал, не знаю, где-нибудь мне его в космосе пришло. Если я за такой канал никому не прошу. Башкой надо думать, чтобы говорить такие слова. А то меня, блядь, возьму там, он заберет, и все, будет на 8. Тебе нет. Смотри. Другу. Мне Оксана позвонила. Мне Оксана сейчас вообще бросит меня. Звони, говорю, как дела, она делает. Салам. Нормально разговариваю. Подумай, что ты не знаю. Я не поступил. Да, прикольненько.
Bonjour Paris! Bienvenue en ce deuxième jour des finales mondiales de Brawl Stars. On a eu un jour excellent hier, beaucoup de 3-0, beaucoup de bons matchs, 4 équipes qui se sont déjà qualifiées pour dimanche. Et aujourd'hui, on a les 8 équipes suivantes, 4 tickets pour le dimanche final ici à Disneyland Paris. Une seule équipe pourra finir avec le plus grand des titres. Ça sera décidé demain, mais aujourd'hui, beaucoup d'actions pour ça.
Хочу забрать себе тоже себе.
Welcome to day 2 of the Brawl Stars World Finals. We had an action-packed day
Такой
yesterday.
кубок я бы
4
хотел
teams
забрать.
have already
Сейчас
validated their tickets to the finals. Tomorrow, Championship Sunday is going to be big, but there are 4 more spots to take, and these spots are going to be taken today. 16 teams are in competition here at Disneyland Paris, but only one will leave with the biggest of titles. I am Damascus, I will be your host all weekend, but without further ado, let's get brawling!
Welcome back, everybody, to the Brawl Stars World Finals. Day number 2 is getting underway. Once again, here at Disneyland Paris, it is a full house, and I couldn't be more excited to be alongside you, Teddy. How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling great. Yesterday was already awesome. We got 4 more round of 16 matches left. We're gonna play through them today, and man, there are some amazing matches lined up for you.
And let's get a quick recap of that format as well. If you weren't with us yesterday, here it is. Power match format, just like your Power League games at home, and a 16-team single elimination bracket. You lose, you are out of here. It is the culmination of a year's worth of effort. Best of 5 in the round of 16, all the way to the semifinals, transitioning into a best of 7 format in those grand finals. Prize pool is looking pretty spicy.
Короче, подписчики, я в 23-м году буду занимать хотя бы 3.
Our players 400k just for that first place, 200k second, and it dwindles down from there on, but it's still a hefty sum of money for any team that qualified here for the World Finals.
And 4 teams made it that much closer to claiming their grand prize. Quarterfinals on the top side of the bracket have been locked in. Zeta Division 1, Reply Totem in that first quarterfinal taking place tomorrow. STMN and Team Queso in the next quarterfinal tomorrow.
Yeah, yesterday's round of 16 matches were crazy, especially looking at the two first ones, in my opinion. I mean, Vatra Gaming, a great performance, but Reply Totem looked deadly. On the other hand, I also think Chasmac played really well, but Zeta Division 1, they are just Zeta Division 1. The other matches too, I mean, we said goodbye to AC Blank Clash with Stalwart Esports, some heartbreaks, but I mean, that's the name of the game here at the World Finals.
And potentially some more along the way. Let's look ahead and see what is to come today. The round of 16 is finishing up here with the last 4 matches in this segment. Tribe Gaming EU will face off versus Zest, then Zeta Division 0 versus Chasmac Gaming BR. Next, Tribe Gaming NA versus Navi, and Reconic Esports TOC versus SK Gaming. Some serious matchups here on the bottom side of the bracket. Any of those stand out to you in particular, Teddy?
Have you seen that third match? I mean, look at it. Tribe Gaming NA versus Navi. That is one stacked round of 16 match, one that seeding really did dirty here. That is going to be a fun one to watch.
Well, I definitely agree, but it seems like we didn't exactly agree on our predictions here. At least I speak for myself and all the other casters, excluding you. Why Navi versus Tribe Gaming NA? It's a very hotly contentious match, but once again, you're the sole outlier, taking just one different match from the rest of us.
Well, listen, yesterday, I was the only one going Totem against Vatra. I was right. I'm counting on making that happen again. Just getting, you know, a 2 correct prediction lead over you guys. Worst case scenario, I tie it up with you. It's just win-win. I'm very strategical about my predictions.
Okay, if you want to be a wise guy like Teddy, and I would highly encourage you to do so, go to event.brawlstars.com, submit your predictions of your own, interact with the stream, watch, and earn some rewards as well to redeem in-game. You can get the new skin as well for Tara, which is looking super, super awesome. Also, make sure you engage with us on TikTok. We want to see y'all's reactions as well. You can share those with us using hashtag BSWF22 and share with us your reactions. We want to see how you're reacting to it. I mean, we get to do it up on the big screen, but we want to see it on the small vertical screen too.
Exactly that. We get to see the reactions of the people like behind us, literally, as they witness everything live, but we are not forgetting you guys at home. We want to see how you guys feel about everything. We want to know it all. Share.
Well, without further ado, I mean, we're getting ready for our first match here, and this is going to be quite an interesting one. Tribe Gaming EU versus Zest. Now, Tribe Gaming EU, definitely one of the top dogs in their home region of EMEA, getting a couple of monthly finals wins in there. Zest, can't say the same for their region. The 3rd seed from LATAM South, definitely having some struggles in their home region.
Yeah, on paper, this is one of the more one-sided matches here of the round of 16, but we've seen in the past, it doesn't always mean everything. It all depends on the form on the match day. And guys, talking about the form of those teams, let's find out as they go on stage.
Так.
Et allez, c'est l'heure pour
Сегодня
le
будем до
premier
4
match
часов
de la
ночи
journée. On a
играть,
4
пока
gros matchs.
Нави не
Aujourd'hui, le
выиграет,
premier
мы
match qui va
туда
commencer,
не
ça
уйдем
va accueillir
подписчиков, мы
directement
будем...
la première seed. Mais vous savez quoi? Je vois les supporters
Нет,
de Tribe.
честно,
Il y en a quand même beaucoup. On va la faire en anglais rapidement. For all of the Tribe supporters, we're doing this one in English. Are you guys ready to make some noise for your team? Yeah? Tribe Gaming EU!
Ставлю ему 4-1.
Tribe Gaming EU, a team that clearly needs no introduction. Some world finalists from last year and previous years on this roster, especially if we talk about Tom, world champion in 2019 and a decorated record from this entire year follow.
That's a good point. And as you mentioned, number 1 seed here in EMEA, but looking at more international, interregional rather, results, it's not quite as good. World Finals 2021 was pretty much the same squad minus Luna. They only made it to top 16, so they got knocked out first round of Worlds. MSI this year also ended up knocked out early, so they want that big international result. This is their ticket to at least make it to the quarters if they can take down Zest. It's looking pretty good for them. But talking about Zest, let's bring them to the stage.
Et leurs adversaires, ils nous viennent d'Amérique du Sud, la 3e seed d'Amérique du Sud, des novices sur cette scène ici à Paris qui vont tenter de faire tomber la top seed européenne. Ils représentent 3 pays: Argentina, Brazil, Chile. Make some noise for Zest!
A Lonzo, no one, and Loco. If you guys are not familiar with them, they got third seed in the LATAM South region. Thoughts about Wesley as well? That is not going to be playing in this match as he will be sitting on the bench. It's not a team that has achieved a whole lot already. They are third seed, did not win a single monthly final, once made it to the grand finals of a monthly. Didn't make it to Worlds last year, didn't make it to MSI. This is their first big event, and it doesn't get a whole much bigger than this.
Keyword yet. They have not achieved this much greatness yet. This is their chance to claim it on the big stage and a potential to continue a continuous curse. From EMEA, Tribe Gaming EU, they need to break the EU curse. Every single year since 2019, the top team from EMEA has gone down the
Я
first
хочу
round in
работать, но
Worlds.
нельзя мне
Tribe Gaming
работать,
EU, they
обещают
have
мне.
to close it out
Пока я
here.
учусь,
Zest,
мне
they're an
нельзя.
unknown enemy, but
Я
they're also
везде
severely the underdog in this matchup.
Oh, absolutely.
Мне
I think one
придется
thing that kind of gives me some more hope for Zest as well is their coach, Yak, which, if my memory serves me correctly, was
Придется продавцом поработать 3 года.
last year, brought them
По
there, so
профессию
he could maybe, you know,
активирован.
have gotten them in just the best form, the best conditions to perform. I think that Tribe Gaming EU, without a doubt, are favorites here. But we
Да
have
мне
seen
похер,
Tribe
я лучше
showing
своим
form
телефоном
here and
буду.
there.
Я память просто
So,
возьму себе,
gotta be
увеличу.
careful, you know, try to get that
Не
good, solid
посадим.
early start. Whereas on Zest, I mean, they want exactly the same. Try to scare away Tribe Gaming, convince them that, you know, maybe they're not quite good enough to go further. Tribe Gaming is a very emotional team, and they get hugely affected by momentum and how good their opponents feel about themselves, how confident they get. So I think Zest, if they really want to impress Tribe, they gotta strike hard and early and be loud while doing so.
No doubt, and you know, as optimistic as I would love to be for Zest, you gotta be realistic as well. If we just look at the self-reported scrims heading up onto the World Finals in preparation phase, an unfortunate 24% win rate for Zest in those scrims. That's not really great. And you talk about, you know, Tribe EU having sort of maybe a weakness to confidence on the opposing side. I'm gonna be real with you, man. I would not be confident up here if I were Zest. One thing they can be confident in, though, is that they're an unknown enemy, right? They're coming in with not a whole lot known about them, not a whole lot of background studies to be done on them, and also probably a whole lot of work being done in the dojo, right? The regional meta, and bringing out something that we don't usually see in the EMEA scene.
Yeah, you're right. To be fair, Tribe is not really a team to underestimate their opponents. They do have their moments where they look a bit more shaky, and this year has been an interesting one because they qualified for World Best Seed. That's their best result ever coming from monthly finals. Always was a little bit of a struggle to make it all the way and secure that spot into the World Finals. But this year, much more secure and confident about it. The question is, how is that going to translate now in their opening match? The expectations are high. The Tribe fans, the Tribe staff as well on screen here, recognizing a whole bunch of them, Kaner, Cody, I'm getting confused, but a whole bunch of them,
There are a whole lot of them as well. Everyone's showing out here, and I mean that's one of the amazing things about having a LAN is that you get to have the live studio audience in here too, and everyone coming out to support their favorite teams too. A lot of support on the side of Tribe. Once again, I mean, if you haven't submitted your predictions already, you got to do so on event.brawlstars.com. That way we can accurately gauge what the audience is thinking in terms of predictions for this match. But I mean, we already know what the casters are thinking. Casters are thinking that this is going to be a very confident and dominant match for Tribe Gaming EU. But hey, I mean, upsets are always welcome. We haven't seen any huge upsets just yet. If we do, it's going to have to get started here on Safe Zone, our very first map.
Oh! Yeah, that is brutal. 85% of you guys at home are predicting Tribe Gaming EU to take this one home, and I can't blame you. I think the odds are maybe a little bit more favorable to Zest than that, but it's still going to be tough. We're kicking things off on Safe Zone. Our bans on the side of Tribe Gaming EU are going to be Otis, Max, and 8-Bit. Zest will be banning out Bell, Brock, and Bonnie. Just as a little stat here, their win rates of both teams in Heist is 46% for Tribe, 50 for Zest, so arguably a slightly better game on the side of Zest. But to be fair, you know, it's stats that come from facing different opponents in different regions, so we'll see how that actually goes down in practice. Tom, going to be first picking that Ruffs, and it's one we've seen quite a bit on Safe Zone lately.
and he's a very popular wall breaker as well. And safe zone wall break is going to be absolutely paramount to a lot of strategies, especially if you want to run something effectively up the right lane. Rico absolutely comes to mind. He's not banned out here, and he could be picked if, of course, things are broken open early on. Colonel Ruffs doesn't get free wall breaking. Even breaking open the walls might even be a hazard now that B has been picked on the opposing side.
I honestly like the B here. I think it's a pretty good reactionary pick. Obviously, it doesn't do well at all against Rouse.
No.
But I'm assuming that the next one probably will cover that. Brief going to be a much better option here to complement it and have that free roll break available with the piggy bank. Open up your right side of the map, make sure you have just easy access to your lane, and especially early access compared to the Ruffs that needs a super before you can open up that wall.
And great for denying things that get in close range versus you as well. This roster has been known to run Daryl here pretty reliably. Carl's still an option that we saw absolutely wreck house yesterday. Piper and Colette actually is quite interesting. Colette, of course, colossal damage on that safe, especially if she gets damage boosted by Colonel Revs. I would say it's more likely that Piper gets damage boosted since she's less likely to die with the treat over her head. Drage on the Piper, though, always one that you want to be watching out for, but there's still one option left on the side of Zest for a counter pick.
Yeah, honestly, I love this draft on the side of Tribe. Daryl is going to be our final pick here for Zest. I like it too. I think both teams have a lot of merit here. Lena has a very good matchup against the Daryl. Overall, I mean, Lena on the Colette can be an absolute threat. I think what I like about Tribe Gaming EU's combat strategy is they're going for very comfortable picks for them, right? We all know Tom's Ruffs, Luna's Colette, and Drage's Piper, and they are staying in their comfort zone, which is important when it comes to your opening set. You don't want to give anything away and get yourself in an uncomfortable situation. Left side is going to be opened up by the Grift as Tom is trying to aggress and get some early positioning. Loco down in the mid got tagged up, does get a tag onto Drage. Let's see if he can get a connection on that 3K shot. He's getting up close, and wow! The connection as Drage is gonna fall, and some first damage on save. That's gonna be going the way of Zest.
And another piggy bank drop down around the left side to break things open. Tom luckily has one wall left to his name that he can use. Loco gets tapped up a little bit. Here's a roll in from no one. Little supply drop down, but it's not going to go on top of Loco. Tom falls. The 9 Drage trying to defend as best as they can, but Alonso is determined to lock himself in his back left court. It's going to take a pinch to get him out of there, which is surely coming along the way, but it does waste a little bit of time that Tribe could be using to push up Alonso. He just continues to stay alive. He's going to get the close range kill, now taken down by Tom, but no one's all over the safe like white on rice. Loco still trying to get some damage in here. A little honeypot thrown down as well. Good contact from Lena, but this is a dominating game so far by Zest.
Zest are destroying Tribe Gaming EU in this first game so far. A nice homemade recipe connects from Drage down in the mid and gives him some slightly better positioning. A good tag onto Loco, but now there is a charge shot on that B. Alonso has a super as well. We need to be careful on the side of Tribe Gaming EU. There's not a whole lot of room to maneuver in this first game as we get towards the final minute. A super from the now to go in and out, get some damage down on that save. They have a lot of catching up to do still.
Well, now that Drake is all powered up, he's definitely going to be a threat. No one tries to push up around the left side. He is able to get some damage in. Also denied by Tom with some wall break. He still stays alive, but the sandbags appear to come in clutch. Alonso also gets a kill here. Lena has a super to work with as well, but he's got to be careful versus Loco, who outranges him a lot. It's going to be a pretty unwinnable lane matchup for him, especially with no one coming around the left side, rather right side. Drage, though, thankfully is able to pick the supply drop in mid, a dash forward as well from Lena, but they got a long way to go on this save and a short time to get there.
Yeah, a nice roll from no one. The kill is going to be confirmed by Loco as Alonso falls on the left side to Tom, and Tom is utilizing those sandbags with the damage gear as well to get that extra damage. It's only 6% now, separating both teams. Who is going to go home with that first game? The jump in from Drage doesn't get a shot off, but now with the super gets shut down, and that is going to be Zest taking game number 1.
What am I watching? This is the exact opposite of what we expected. However, if you want to get that momentum started versus a team that is particularly sensitive to momentum, you gotta get it done in game 1. What a way to start things off. Just the diff on the defense of Tribe Gaming EU. Zest, they already have their eyes set once again at mid. Alonso is going to be breaking open that left wall fairly early on, but Tom, he's going a lot more aggressive this time, trying to line up the shots. Great dodges from Alonso. In fact, he's dodging shots left, right, and center. Speaking of center, here's Drage getting one tap on a Loco, just one tap away from picking up a kill. Good take there with the honeypot. Loco manages to stay alive as well. Charge B and damage gear active, but no 4K contact.
All right, let's see. So far, not nearly as much of a problem in the early game for Tribe. It does make sense though, right? You have the Ruffs, which doesn't get the free wall break, so it's easier for that right lane on the side of Zest, as well as those buffs that come from the trees from Ruffs. They're going to take a while to build up. First kill here from Drake onto Alonso, as that left side is going to be weakened up. And a chance now for Tom to push forward, try to get some connections towards the safe. Still no shots connecting on safe just yet. Those walls will be taken out by Drake. Let's see if that is going to be favorable for them as Alonso creeps up onto the right side. Wants to get up close, but those stacks from Tom are going to keep him at bay for now at least, as no one also has that roll available. We know how deadly that can be. The slow doesn't quite connect, but now missing a super as well, is able to find Alonso. Another kill from Drake onto no one, and it's only Loco left alive. A good cleanup from Track Gaming as they get some damage on safe and take over the lead.
Lena has his next super free, 10% off the safe. Down goes Drage as well. Loco's taking like a madman. Here comes a slow into Lena, and no one gets to get all over this safe. Tons of damage being knocked off, but still not surpassing what Tribe Gaming EU has laid into disaster. But I stand corrected. No one's going crazy. Contact of the gadget on there as well. Tribe Gaming EU now standing at 41% to 58, and Alonso continues the onslaught.
Zest are threatening Tribe on this first set. A dangerous position for this game start for Tribe Gaming. Drake, a good kill onto Loco. 25 seconds left now. A super from the now. Good connection onto Alonso, onto the safe as well. I think someone creeped up on the right side. It's going to get to the safe. There's two players from Tribe that have access to that safe, getting some damage down as well, but it's still Zest in the lead for now, and we head towards our final 15 seconds.
Got a body block here. Loco doesn't have too much health to work with, though. Tom and Trace are tossing everything on that safe that they can. 11 to 12, 1% left. There's not enough time for Zest to push this back to Tribe's safe, and it's going to a tied upset.
Oh my goodness. This opening set is fantastic already, and let's just appreciate that Daryl pick into the Colette as well. The confidence from Zest, and I mean, everyone had their doubts. We know we have a match in our hands here already. Let's see who takes set number 1 between Tribe Gaming, EU, and Zest.
Little lane switch here too. Alonso now takes the right side early on. Wonder if he's going to be breaking open that wall if he so pleases. No one also on the left side here. Could come the piggy bank. He's going to heal up a little bit before popping that gadget. It looks like gadget popped also. Loco is going to lose that honey pot. Here's the wall break. Yeah, Drake is just going to do a favor and save him a gadget as well. Alonso, thankfully, is able to avoid a lot of that damage, and Tom switches over to the lane. There's some more wall break as well. That's going to be great for dealing with no one. A kill onto Alonso. Roll in from no one. He's looking for damage, but Tom's taking it pretty well. Wow. Another kill onto Loco. And Tribe Gaming EU, they're powering right through. In fact, penetrating as well for 10% off that safe, and 15 already knocked off his Zest safe.
What a start here from Tribe. Did not take a single percent on that save. We saw in game 1 how devastating those pushes from Zest can be. A missed homemade recipe from Drage with a follow-up connection onto no one. Getting that tag up, and the buff is on both Drage and Lena at this point, which is going to help massively in those one-on-one matchups. 20% extra damage, definitely something substantial. Super does connect from Alonso, but so does the shot from Drake that takes him down. A honeypot to tank for Loco. He's in an awkward position, gets shut down. No one tries to get to the safe. Will get some decent damage on save, but what a lead from Tribe now.
Zest, they are trailing by a large margin here. They have to get some damage in on that enemy safe. Loco's doing his best to defend. Lenaz is going to try and lock himself in his back right corner. Alonso's just waiting out the gotcha gadget. Lenaz still going to benefit from some bonus damage, though. Big stuff in. Alonso gets the defense, but Tom and Drake are here to finish it off, and it's a Tribe Gaming EU victory.
A slow start from Tribe Gaming, but they made sure they take that first set in the end, shut down any sort of confidence that Zest were building up. But to be fair, I'm saying that, but I mean, Zest are surprising us so far. I think that draft was a fantastic one on their end. Definitely not like a free win by any means, but even enough that, you know, this got close. This got dangerously close. If that second game, a 10% difference, and suddenly we would have had Zest take the first set.
No, honest truth here, I wasn't entirely convinced by the Daryl pick on paper, but in action, it was just endless aggression onto that save and some solid damage overall. Where Zest seemed to really have that struggle was once things pushed up to mid, and especially once the supply drops were powering up Drage and even Lanai too, but especially Drage tapping things at long range seriously prevented the B from doing what B is usually supposed to do, keep things at long range, slow things down whenever she can. I do want to give a shout out to Loco because he was going nuts that game. In fact, all of Zest was taking game number 1 is such a great statement over a team like Tribe Gaming EU, but what really matters is those set victories. That is what actually gets you closer to taking a match win.
Absolutely, and I think Tribe just escaped a big trap here. Wow, it was close, but the stats, they tell a different story here. 17 kills on Drage, 10 on top, and a little bit behind, but does have a decent bit of damage as well. I think no one struggled to really find, any sort of connections after those Daryl rolls. And it's a problem, sometimes with the tanks is until you are in the action and you are, right next to your opponent, you can't really do much, just be there, tank a bit or whatnot, wait for that super to pop out. I think that Tribe did an amazing job here at dodging that trap in the first set where Zest, they win the first game and it was a stomp. They looked much, much better, and Tribe did not let that take them down. They managed to somehow get a good reset, focus up, and reverse sweep that opening set. Beautiful stuff from the number 1 EMEA seed. Safe zone is where we are heading next, and Stu will be the first pick for Tribe.
Definitely liking the Stu pick here. Also to clarify, it is hot zone, not safe zone, open zone. There we go. Yeah, two zones in a row, and I mean maybe another one if we move on to knockout pretty soon here. Another, or out of the open, only tangentially related to open zone, which is once again not on heist. But anyway, Stu, I definitely like here. You're able to bob and weave in and out of that point. You're able to chase down tanks that could be particularly troublesome. I don't necessarily expect to see that here. Poco's actually going to be the response, in fact, and this one is a little bit worrisome for me when Stu is in the mix, but should have seen it coming from a mile away because B has been banned on the side of Zest. They fully intend on running a Poco comp.
Man, I mean, this has some real potential on the side of Zest. I love this too, don't get me wrong. I think it's one of the most dominant picks on this map. You can just get those wiggles and, dash left and right in the zone, stay there forever. Speed zone, still strong, not nearly as strong as it used to be, but it can still help out massively. On the other hand, Poco, an absolute threat on this map. Wonder why they went Gil rather than Max, to be completely fair. I think that would have been a potential explosive pairing. But I do respect the Gil here as well. I mean, obviously, if you want to control the zone, nothing better to get you out of the zone than a Gil.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and expect that they're running the jump pad for a little bit of extra momentum into the mid area. Perhaps it could also help to counter whatever they might be going for in tandem with the Poco because they do have last pick. But here comes out one tank counter at minimum. Tom's also going to be a pretty strong tank counter here because, well, you're never able to hit him because he always stays out of your range. Drage is going to have tremendous range here as well. And Amber, at least in, I hail from the North American region, and in North America, you always ban Amber. Here's Carl as well, a particularly tanky pick that's going to give Amber a lot of trouble here, actually.
Carl was the most picked brawler yesterday, I believe, or at least up there. And, I mean, no wonder why. It performed phenomenally yesterday. Now, will Zest perform as well as Tempo did yesterday on that Carl pick? There's only one way to find out, but yeah, this is going to be an interesting one for sure. I like what I'm seeing on both sides. I think it's a bit more traditional inside of Tribe Gaming, but we do have that launch pad indeed, and unless this is something that Tribe are really prepared for, I could see it catching them off guard.
Especially if no one is constantly jumping in. Loco can also cycle out that super pretty effectively. Lanai is dodging back and forth and does manage to pick the kill onto no one as well. Tribe Gaming EU, they are on this point very firmly locked, and here comes some of the bush break as well, keeping Loco back, burning him up. Thankfully, some healing comes in from Alonso. Here's the super in and the gadget paired with it, but no one, he's still struggling to get some kills here. Tribe Gaming EU, they refuse to let this point behind.
Yeah, range is something quite complicated here on the side of Zest. Sure, the call does have a decent bit of range, but it's just at the advantage of Tribe, and playing max range like that is going to be a complicated affair. No one does manage to find a kill on Tom on the right-hand side. No one going in, no one finds the kill, and that is going to be enough to get a couple more percentages on the board for Zest. They're not quite there just yet. They still have a decent bit of catching up to do.
Well, they're just staying at the edge of this zone on the top side. Lanai, he's also taking serious damage. Down he goes to the super from Loco. Another kill as well, or rather a near kill onto Drage as he has to retreat. Here comes the Ego down to protect him a little bit, but it's not going to offer too much defense versus Carlin. His piercing damage, nor versus Alonso. Little burn onto no one and a focus down on the right side. Tribe Gaming EU begin to win back this zone. There's the team wipe, and they take this one back.
Big team wipe from Zest, exactly, sorry, from Tribe, exactly what they needed right here, right now, as they're getting closer and closer to the finish line. Another jump pad plays down, and that is low HP. Drage trying to keep some control of the zone here, but Alonso and Loco are doing a good job as well. Drage finds the connection on Loco. Alonso is one shot, eventually gets shut down, and it's all up to no one here to stop them from closing it out. Does find one kill, and now was able to get it all the way to 90%. Tom, incredibly low HP, should get cleared up there, and eventually Loco does find a kill. It's incredibly close, and now Zest are in control of the zone. This is going to be the final fight to determine who takes game number 1 of top. So Loco pulls, gets Drage away. They're both in the zone, 1%, and no one does it. He's going to secure that first game again for Zest.
What is Zest on today? They're taking game 1 in the first set, game 1 in the second set, and completely out of nowhere as well. Running some stuff that is also kind of out of nowhere. Here's a jump pad once again to start things off. No one is seriously stuck in there at the end, getting that control towards the end and getting close range versus some brawlers that struggle to pump out the DPS when someone is right on top of them, especially Tom, who was an absolute powerhouse in the last game. But this time, Zest, not only are they going to get that early zone control, but they're holding on to it way better than they did in game number 1. Lanad, though, is trying to dispel some of this defense, already circling in versus Loco on the left side. Alonso and no one trying to stay alive on the right. No one needs the piercing damage, but Drake stays barely out of range. There's a free spray too. Loco goes down on the left. Tribe Gaming EU, it looks like they've gotten back mid-control.
Yeah, Zest capitalized much better with that jump pad than in the first game. And yet Tribe was a great retake here of the mid, good presence, and that is one big puddle from Tom into the mid as well. If he gets the burn, he does connect in onto Alonso. That is going to be a kill. Loco in a 1v3, the team wipe in favor of Tribe Gaming, and they have the lead, they have zone control. This is looking excellent for them.
Big push break around the right side for Tom as well. It's going to be an issue for no one. Alonso, who need them to survive. Here comes a super in from no one, but it's a little bit too late, actually. Tom does stay alive. Protective pirouette is supposed to shield you from a lot of damage, and it just came a little bit too late. Alonso also going down Loco. He's just a smidge away from dying. A little pushback as well as he's getting good dodges versus Lanad. No one now takes his place. Need to see the kill onto Tom or Lanad. They're both super, super low. No one's going to go for it, but once again, bursted down by Tom. Tribe Gaming EU, they lead confidently, but they need to win back this mid-control.
Wow, what a lead from Tribe. Zest was a decent retake, but not one that seems to be holding for long now. Has been struggling much more this game as well. Tribe has done an amazing job at shutting him down. He goes in for a final attempt at pushing Tribe back, but not a successful one. Tribe tie things up, and again, we are going to game 3.
A lot of struggles there for Carl, unfortunately, because versus Amber, he should be able to gadget in and then immediately super, but you can just sense the pressure that Tribe Gaming EU is applying here because, frankly, that's not necessarily how Carl usually works in this interaction. We'll have to see, though, if it changes up in this next one, because we saw in set number 1 as they change up the lanes, they try to make it work here. Zest, they got to go for anything that they can get as it's all tied up in this set.
Right, just a couple of percentages lead, but the first kill goes the way of Tribe. Zone control now, Alonso burning down, and will end up dropping as now Tribe have a solid foothold in the mid. Zest need to be incredibly careful. They don't want to give this one away. They barely lost that first set. Twice in a row would be devastating, but another double burn from Tom, and that is going to be a follow-up cleanup from Tribe Gaming, as it's only Loco left alive, and just barely poorly timed respawns. They do manage to keep Loco up for now. It's gonna try to heal up. Alonso low goes for the heal. No one needs to commit a bit more, but every time he gets that solo HP before he can do anything, and it seems like Tribe are just running away with this game and then with this set potentially.
Zest here, they're getting staggered so hard as they come in one by one. Thankfully, they're going to regroup for this final push in. Loco, he's going to have to make some magic happen. Maybe it's no one's job now. There's a flying hook in, but he gets tripped up next to the wall. His super is left, but he doesn't even get to use it. The pressure is mounting, and Zest fall once again after a Game 1 victory. But this is so much more than we expected to see from this roster. Certainly an impressive showing, but once again, they have to generate this into some set victories. Tribe now heading into set number 3 with 2 set victories under their belt already. They're 1 game away from that match point.
One thing that is absolutely worth pointing out here is just the adaptation that Tribe Gaming EU is capable of, losing both first games of their set, and you know, quite tough losses too. The first one in Heist was a bit of a stomp, a bit of a surprising one too, and that second one, in the second set, it was a huge clutch, and yet, games 2 and 3, they managed to just make a night and day difference, coming much more confident, pop off, hit those shots, keep them away from the objective, and dominate. Tribe Gaming playing fantastically here, but as you said, Zest catching everyone off guard, because talking to the players, talking to everyone here at the World Finals, most people's thoughts were Zest were maybe, you know, bottom of the round of 16, or maybe 1 or 2 spots up, but they were around the bottom of people's rankings, and they are definitely surprising us here with this at least a 2 first sets.
Not the ideal place to find yourself in, not the ideal place to be told that you are at the very bottom, and we've been proven wrong, right? Everyone here has been proven wrong, but the ultimate way to do it is to get some wins on the board. We see some games up there. We need to see sets. We need to see this go to at least a set 4 for Zest to truly prove themselves versus this roster. And I'm going to return back to something that I think we observed in a large way. The pressure. It was clearly mounting so much. Some blunders started appearing there towards the end of that last set. Yes, it was pretty much all but lost for Carl there, but not being able to get that gadget around the corner, that's the kind of stuff that reveals, you know, these are pro players. They had to work so hard, they had to play so well to get to this stage. It's got to be some external force causing that stuff to happen.
No, you make a valid point, and honestly, I think looking at the draft, I think the Carl was a final pick, right, for Zest. So when you have a final pick, and it's probably the least impactful one on the entire map, a bit of a mistake there that if they manage to rectify, I feel like they really could have just taken that set. So a bit sad for them, because they've had a lot of opportunities to win those 2 first sets, and they've been so close to doing so. And yet, it's Tribe up 2-0 now, as we have a Gene first pick on the side of Tribe Gaming EU after they banned out Max, Squeak, and Piper. Zest banning out Eve, Bonnie, and Rock.
And I like the Gene first pick. I mean, on Out in the Open in particular, you can get some pretty good value with the vision gear, but also simply the presence of the bushes. If you use speed gear, you can really surprise your opponents popping out of those bushes, getting really, really long distance on that pull. But here comes the V, and here comes the Tick as well. That Tick super is going to be blocking out a lot of damage from Gene potentially. Also, V just at the ready, always going to have that honey molasses to block any kind of Gene pull. The counters to Gene are quite clear, but it still opens the doors in terms of how exactly do you counter the brawlers on the enemy team. Already, a thrower has been picked. Tribe Gaming EU needs to start cooking up some ways of playing versus that brawler.
For me, Gene is just such a strong brawler on this map, whether it's the vision gear that enables you to just have so much info on your opponents, or just the pull, you know, and the magic puffs as well, knockout, are devastating for your opponents. We'll see a Griff and a Gus picked up by the side of Tribe. They've been loving those 2 brawlers in the last couple of months, and understandably so. Gus, as a support brawler, provides just so much to the team with that super, but also is a perfectly capable duelist. If you hit those shots, pop a gadget, claim a kill, and it's as simple as that. Otis is going to be the final pick on the side of Zest. Any comps your favor here, ready?
I definitely am more used to and more adapted to what Tribe Gaming EU has to offer, though I think that this might be a pretty inventive approach from Zest, because I think the pretty clear strategy here is that Tribe Gaming EU, they intend on, at least as a last-ditch effort perhaps, throwing that shield onto Drage. He gets passive healing because he's Griff. He does great damage in close range because, yeah, he's Griff. And Otis's intention is to silence him up. He's what? Yeah, he's got the money on lock. Okay, let's check out what Zest has to offer. Already, Tick up the left lane, a little wall break as well. Gonna be keeping Grid back. But Nazi gonna be using the jump pad. That's a little bit different.
Yeah, trying to catch them off guard, get some good positioning off the bat, and it worked. Looking at the position from Zest now, they are all the way back in their spawn. No one was a big tag onto Lena. Lena is able to pull out and stay careful. As so far, it is still a massive control advantage in favor of Tribe, but at least HP-wise, Zest have managed to recover without losing a single player. Need to be careful, and now does have a super now as well. We know how devastating those can be in the late stages of those rounds. Bridge still working towards that pool, and on the side of Zest, they do have two supers as well. Alonso might have to go for a ticket here as Lena is getting dangerously close, and wow, beautiful teamwork.
Они ожидают времени, то есть какого-то момента ошибки противника. Смотри, вот тут накинул атаку, так ты смотри, сюрприз. И Отисом, это же немножко тик накинул гаджет, который большого наносит. Осуждаю ТП. Минус, тренч, да, что творят, и минус у нас. Я бы обратил внимание на то, что когда мяч снова оказался Гризман, который предлагает свои услуги как большой благотворительный фонд. Пожалуйста, я здесь, я сделаю все для того, чтобы наша атака проиграла. Сейчас вас это трансляция. Вы можете продолжать, если хотите. Нет, слишком прижат к дому. Это слишком активно поднялся, тоже пытаешься дожать всяких моментов. Опять же, что-то где-то зашли. Сразу тратить, как бы, обычные карточки и испытания и так далее. Кстати, газ промахивается по Джину и Рейджи. Так вот, еще немножко не лайн уходит. Что можно сейчас продать, здесь будет просто с этим хватиком могла залететь минус все, минус гриф. Кстати, там немножко есть призрак на газ, который может взрывать в нужный момент. Так что ожидаем Викторина Богдана. Тяжечка, красиво, минус стик сразу летать уничтожает. Примерный улицу. Ой-ой-ой. Так вот, и ульта от грифа. И это, кажется, победа. Драйв гейминг. И это значит, вы, друзья, сейчас будут решаться. Забирать команду. Победа или нет. Остается один раунд победы. Старичок.
Офигеть.
Зачем не 35 секунд задержки? Так начинается решающий раунд для драйв гейминга. Не затяжайтесь, нормально. Что, прожимайте лайк на канал, друзья, подписывайтесь на колокольчик. И смайлик, кстати, прожимайте. Понравился, плюс 10 очков получаете. 2-0, кстати, хочу вам сказать. Так, Снайпер сражается с Тигром и Отисом. Что за так похититься? Потому что Атлетик просто, ну, немножко агрессивно, не на Отисом. Кстати, как-то здесь немножко больше иначе. Драйв гейминг на их стороне минус Тиг. И терапия, красиво, но именно Джин у нас минус 2 остается. Где Викторину? В описании. Викторина появляется, когда
Significant Tom in trouble. Tom, 1 HP, but can they take him down? They will indeed. Interesting gadget choice as well as Lena is going to desperately try to 1v2. Lena breaking open the walls now as well, but too many angles, too many possibilities for shots to come here and there. And he does full Zest take a round they desperately needed.
Certainly a commendable effort there towards the end by Lena, but they still need to get a couple of rounds in here in order to close out the match. Oh, early kill there, Tom. He popped the gadget to get that kill shot onto Loco, and now already it's a 2v3. This is not looking good for Zest as we speak. They can afford to lose this round, but it's suboptimal. Here it comes, a kill on Lena, and now it's evened out to a 2v2.
Wow. Beautiful stuff. Lena with an overextension, but a pull connects again from Drage, and he has been on point on that Gene. 2v1, no one has the DPS to turn this around, but it is going to be a struggle, especially as he has no walls to easily heal back, and the Gene is constantly able to chip damage him. He does get his super, but he does go down. Tribe Gaming EU, all they need is this round, and they'll be qualifying for the quarterfinals.
Well, on the side of Zest, for what it's worth, they have 3 supers to work with. Loco's going to go for a silence, missed super onto Lena. Drage also has a super of his own. He has that full ready to go, but no one can block it, so he's going to try and play aggressive. Drage might try and block it out, or rather bait it out once again. No one is going to pop it. That gadget's on cooldown. Not too much of a concern for the guy. Drage is too far away to be dealt with. Alonso still, he has that looming threat of a tick super too. But just like we've seen before, Tribe, they gradually push these guys back. No one almost gets tapped up there by Tom, but we still find ourselves in a 3v3. The poison is a looming threat though.
Yeah, that 3 super advantage has shifted around. Now we have 3 on the side of Tribe. Who is going to take the game and potentially the match here? As Tribe are still in a good position. Let's see if Zest can even get out of that spawn position. They are starting to move back towards the mid. Eventually the gas will force them to. Alonso is very low HP. Some good tanking from Loco to keep him up as the thick head comes in. Connection onto Tom. He's low HP. It's a bit of a mess. 1 kill, 2 kills, 1v1, no one. And he finds the kill. Zest are not out just yet. They keep fighting Tribe off as yet another set goes all the way.
Zest, they refuse to go down without a fight, without at least 1 game to their name. And no one, I don't think anyone said, well, maybe no one himself, right? But no one saw this coming. Zest, they got to get 1 more game victory in here to push us to a set number 4, and hopefully on their side go for the reverse sweep. But they're the major underdogs, and they are still locked into a match point on the side of Tribe Gaming EU.
Wow. Tom shuts down no one on the left-hand side. Alonso not in the best position either. Loco also getting isolated on the right-hand side. This is not the start Zest wanted. They really wanted to hold on to that momentum, but that's not going to be an option anymore. 2 supers on both sides. Though they will be using them here as they really want to transfer them over to the next round. Tribe Gaming EU again. This is their shot at the quarterfinals. They need just a single round.
Ultimate match point here for Tribe Gaming EU. Just 1 round is all they need. Each kill here could be permanent for the rest of the World Finals. There's the pull that we needed to see. Right onto the tick super. Almost a kill. Oh my gosh, that was almost a huge blunder there by Drage. Thankfully for him, he's able to stay alive. Here comes another super, and down goes Lena. In return, down goes no one. Alonso, he's tapped out by the smoke, and it's just Loco versus the world.
Loco in the 1v2 of his career. Can he turn it around? Or is this where Zest falls? They fought brilliantly, and they can be proud of their performance today, taking already 3 games off Tribe Gaming, the #1 seed in EMEA. But this is going to be an incredible challenge for Loco. I don't know if there is much of a chance at all, but he's going to give it his all either way. Doesn't have the mute, but at last, Tribe close it out, and they are locked in for the quarterfinals.
Tribe Gaming EU, a dominating team throughout the year, and a dominating team in the World Finals as well. Celebrations all around on the Tribe bleachers, and a clean victory for the guys, though not without some spots in there. A game victory in each set for Zest, despite a 3-0 match record. That's got to be something that they are proud of. #3 seed in LATAM South. No one expected them to be bringing out this kind of performance, and yet they stood up to the Titans. They gave it their best shot. They got some game victories as well.
And there was not all that much in it, considering it's a 3-0.
Yeah.
It does not do Zest justice. They performed incredibly well today, and they can be very proud of all that they achieved. Look at that one, beautiful as well, nearly taken home, just a little bit in it, but Tribe, they remain ice cold and unmoved here, as Zest did throw a little bit of a wrench in their plans here and there, catch them off guard multiple times, especially in those first games of the sets, but in the end, Tribe able to just adapt better and learn from their mistake, adjust, and that made all the difference today.
Absolutely, and I think adaptation is really the name of the game here today, because you adapt to things that, of course, you're not familiar with, you have not seen before, and I don't typically see a tank pick into a couple of tank counters when it comes to heist, and likewise, the jump pad strategy with Gale on hot zone, it sort of worked in the first game of that set, and it sort of fell flat after that. Tom, oh man, with 11 kills and knockout, and for a game mode like Knockout, that is super meaningful. This is the world champion of 2019 of the roster, seriously showing why he still got it.
Yeah, I mean, Tom, man, the anchor truly for Tribe Gaming EU, and we expect Rage and Lena to pop off most of the time, but he's always there, always performing, and our MVP does go to Rage. He performed brilliantly in the two first sets, and honestly, even in the third, those gene pools were violent, drew in and drew out. The 17-year-old British player was yet again a great performance, as we'd expect from Tribe Game.
Extremely impressive, and also laying to rest any concerns about a maybe inconsistent roster as well. As we move towards the end of the year, they started getting very, very dominant, and even versus a team like Zest, admittedly, they did lose 3 games overall across all of those sets. But I think we can really chalk that up to a strong showing from Zest. But as far as tomorrow, I mean, we still got to find an opponent for them, sure, but I expect a strong showing from this team.
Yeah, it did not feel like Prime were, you know, struggling, to be fair. It felt like Zest were just a much fiercer opponent than most of us have anticipated. It does mean that 2 out of our 3 LATAM South teams are now officially out. There's 1 left, and you guys can see on the screen who they're facing.
It is going to be a doozy. It is going to be an extremely tough roster, and of course, if you want to predict what the outcome of this match is, and hopefully win some in-game rewards, some nice goodies, a skin at the end of the road as well, event.brawlstars.com is the place to go. Place your predictions, interact with the stream. You saw the predictions on stream earlier. It was 15% in favor of Zest. Not amazing, but that's what the people said, and it's what you can say too if you head on over to the platform and vote. But of course, we're thinking ahead to this next matchup as well. Zeta Division 0 versus Chazmag Gaming BR, and we've already said goodbye, as you mentioned, to 2 of those teams from LATAM South. This is second seed from LATAM South in the form of Chazmag Gaming BR. Do you think they have what it takes to stay in the competition and continue to represent this region?
Man, it's a tough one, because there's so much on the line. I mean, not only is it the last LATAM South representative at the World Finals, but their sister team, Chazmag Gaming EU, the same org, right? They got knocked out by Zeta Division 1 yesterday. So, brutal start of the World Finals here for both LATAM South and Chazmag specifically. I mean, it's a tough one for Chazmag here, because Zeta are just so good.
Well, let's flip the script, right? Zeta Division 0, let's talk about them. It's been a pretty good World Final so far for Zeta Division, the sister team as well, and just the East Asia region overall. Zeta Division 0, we're going to be welcoming them to the stage, and all the teams as well. Let's hand it over to Damascus.
Et il fallait bien qu'on aille dans la foule, il y a beaucoup de bruit, est-ce qu'on est chaud Paris? Il y a du bruit, un premier match, un bon premier match, c'est l'heure de lancer le deuxième match. On a eu la Division 1 qui a gagné hier dans un clash des mêmes organisations, et c'est l'heure pour la deuxième équipe, pour leurs collègues. Ils ont 2 champions du monde dans leur équipe. Un max de bruit pour Zeta Division 0!
Zeta Division 0, represented by Tensai, Achabi, and Kuru. 2 world finalists on their team, 2 world champions on their team, those being Tensai and Achabi. Extremely mechanically skilled players and legends in the Brawl Stars scene for good reason.
Absolutely so. I mean, legends, not even in the making, but already accomplished, looking for more this year as well. I mean, they didn't quite qualify for MSIs. There was only 1 spot for East Asia, and the battles between the 2 Zetas were just so fierce, and Zeta 1 just barely won over them, but that's still 3 monthly final wins. Second place in SBS APAC, and overall just an amazing year for the Zeta Division or Zeta Division 0. According to their manager, which manages both teams, he said that 0 were better. But let's see their opposition. It's going to be CMG.
Et de l'autre côté, on a vu Chasma Gaming hier, il en reste un représentant de Chasma Gaming. Cette fois, c'est l'Amérique du Sud. Le Brésil, c'est le pays le plus représenté dans ces finales avec 8 joueurs et Chasma Gaming qui est un peu le dernier espoir. Un max de bruit, s'il vous plaît, pour Chasma Gaming. Go Brazil!
Tufa, Pekka, and Firecrow. Edinho also in the back. Ready in case, in another match they want to swap, as they do have a 4-player roster. They are the second seed in Latin South. They did play the World Finals 2021 with INTZ, got top 4, didn't quite qualify for MSI this year, but they did win 2 monthly finals and the Keizo Cup Summer in LATAM. Overall, a team with a lot of accomplishments and a lot of experience on the international stage.
They were extremely strong going into this year, of course, as you mentioned, being former INTZ. Those members of INTZ being Firecrow, Tufa, and Edinho. And you said, Edinho, he's going to be taking a seat for now, right? He's going to be on the bench for a bit. And Pekka, well, he's going to be taking his place. Pekka, an addition early this year, has been a complete powerhouse on this roster, leading them to victories in numerous monthly finals in their home region. However, how will they be able to stand up versus arguably the most dominant region in the world with both Zeta teams qualifying?
Both teams have a point of in common as well, is that they have a bit of a World Finals rookie brought onto Worlds 2022 as Kuru for Zeta Division 0 and then Pekka for CMG Brazil. Both, it's going to be their first World Finals, so maybe a little bit more nervous than the rest, but they are very well surrounded, as we said. I mean, last year, Tensai and Champi, they got first place. They are literally our current world champions. But then Firecrow and Tufa, they still place top 4, so not all that far behind. This is going to be a fun match for sure, and no matter what, those guys, they always somehow manage to perform on the big stage.
Well, from the perspective of Zeta Division 0 here, right, let's talk about them. Tensai and Achampi, they don't have Shitetampo on that roster anymore, and when we put those two teams head-to-head, which one usually wins? Zeta Division 0, they've taken 3 monthly finals in their region. The remaining 4 do go to Zeta Division 1. I mean, it's a lead by 1 monthly final. While it might just seem like 1 match or 1 monthly final, it's a pretty big difference, and we've seen just how dominant they can be already throughout the season. MSI champions as well, but Zeta Division 0 versus that team and taking a win over them, there are no slouches as well. You could almost say, by proxy, they did pretty well at MSI, but I think that's stretching the script just a little bit. That said, I think there's a clear underdog in this matchup. Zeta Division 0, a lot of people are expecting them to win. You and I predicted them to win. I wonder what the people on event.brawlstars.com predicted them to win, but we'll touch on that in just a moment. First, we got to talk about our first map of this set. We're going to be heading into Brawl Ball, and here's the prediction. Oh, another 15-85.
Yeah, very one-sided for sure, and I don't blame you guys. I absolutely don't blame you guys, but I think the odds are a little bit closer, for sure. I mean, Chasmac, yes, they are the underdogs, but they've also proven in the past that many times when they were the underdogs, they won. And it's not like it happened only once, it's happened multiple times in the past, so they've proven that they might not be that much of an underdog anymore. Our bands are lined up. It's going to be Janet, B, and Buster on the side of Zeta. Chasmac taking out Barley, Janet, and Squeak. The first pick of Otis on their side.
I'm definitely liking the Otis here, especially because you can silence some tanks that appear on the other side, and that's something that you want to be preparing yourself for when you have first pick, and thus the enemy has last pick. Here's a Penny. This brawler, at least in Brawl Ball, has fallen quite a bit in popularity recently, and you know, while it might seem shaky, if it seems shaky to you, I think that the win rate seems a little bit shaky for Zeta Division 0 on this particular mode. They only have a 33% win rate in Brawl Ball, which is a little bit surprising. And Chasmac Gaming, on the other hand, definitely respectable, somewhere